Hey, what's going on? Just showed up to the skate park and I just wanted to go over something that I've been noticing a lot, especially at the skate park, but this can carry over to any type of sport or activity, is should you stretch before, in this instance, before you go skate? All right, when I get to the skate park, I see a lot of people, young and old, not just the old guys, but young guys too, which is good that they're trying to take care of themselves for longevity in the sport. But all I ever do is see people stretch, and that's it. So in my opinion, it's actually more important to wake up your nervous system and activate your nervous system than it is to actually stretch. There's no real science that has come out. I've heard of possibly some recently, but I have not seen it. But as far as stretching helping to prevent injuries before you do an activity. So what I mean by that is, not saying that you shouldn't stretch. Stretching can be beneficial, but it's not going to help limit injuries right before you do an activity. Big reason being is that, you might feel that stretch for 10 to 15 minutes, but your muscles are just going to go back to kind of where they were, because you're not going to keep the length that you just put in that muscle for stretching for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, however long you stretch for. You need to be really proactive with it, and your best bet is probably to do it in between, like at night or in the morning, maybe when you first wake up, and not necessarily right when you start your activity. It has been proven, so say you go and you do some stretching right before you do an activity, it can actually take away from performance because your body isn't used to that extra flexibility, that extra elongation in the muscle that you just gave it before it gets back. So sometimes it takes 15 or 20 minutes, and all of a sudden it's back to where it was, and you start feeling better, and you can start performing at the level that you should. Now that's pretty much been proven, I don't know about scientifically, but anecdotally, by watching people play sports. I've heard a couple instances of football teams after halftime coming out, one side would do the old school stretching, get in a circle and stretch and do all those hamstring stretch, butterfly stretch, while the other team was doing more of dynamic warm-ups, getting their nervous system firing, and would do much better in the beginning of the second half than the other team would. And I've heard this multiple times on different occasions of this happening, and I actually have witnessed it myself. And when I witnessed it, sorry about the big truck, I'm right next to a road at the skate park. Now, when I witnessed it, the team that was doing the traditional stretching before the second half was a much better team. They wound up making it to states. They wound up winning that game, but they were up by 2 touchdowns at the half. And then the other team that did the dynamic warm-up actually tied the game up by the end of the third quarter. And then, like I said, then your body will readapt because now you've actually warmed up your nervous system in that time, and they wind up coming back and winning at the end by like 10 points or something like that. So just to kind of give you some ideas, and I've also heard some on the internet, kind of the same idea with that. So what I'm recommending that you do is like an active warm-up to get your nervous system firing. You want to think performance, not stretching. You're not trying to elongate your muscles right before you go. Sure, you're going to feel tight, but doing some active stretching and movement will actually help with those tight muscles. So it's kind of almost like strength training a little bit, but like you just do it with your body weight. So I'm just going to go through the stuff that I usually do before I go skate. My biggest issues is tight hamstring, weak hip flexor, and I got something going on with my Achilles, a little bit of tendonitis. So I can show you something that someone actually at the skate park told me about, and I really haven't had any problems with it since then, as long as I keep on doing it. So the only thing that I'm going to use, you don't even need to do this, I'm going to do this for the hip flexor and the adductor, is a little band that I'm going to attach to a bench. But I'll kind of speed through it to give you an idea of what I'm going to do, so this video isn't that long. But I highly recommend doing these things, and they are pretty much all skate related. All right, so these are the things that I usually go through every time right before I skate. I do some more stuff at home before I go out if I have to, and I can make a separate video of that. And I actually have made some. They're called the Original Strength Reset, so I definitely have some videos on that, and I will say I would definitely check those out, because that, in my opinion, is what's allowing me to be able to still skate at 52, is doing those Original Strength Resets. But I'm going for activation, so I'm gonna activate my glutes, my hamstrings, my quads, and my calves. All right, I'm also gonna do a little mobility work for my hips because I have tight hips. But again, these are things to help fire my nervous system for performance, and I'm not stretching, thinking that I'm going to avoid injury. These activating your nervous system will actually help probably even more to prevent injury while you're actually doing right before the activity. So you don't have to do these in any particular order. This is just what I do them in. So I'm going to tell you what they are, then I'll probably wind up chopping through the video so you're not watching me do the whole thing. But the first thing I'm going to do is a slow single leg deadlift to activate my glute. So I'm going to take all my weight off of one leg. And I'm going to hinge at my hips, bend my knee, and I'm going to slowly go down and try to touch both hands down to the ground, and then push myself up. So I'm pushing down on the ground to stand up nice and tall. I'm going to add an extra cross crawl in here just to help strengthen my core a little bit, just a little more activation. If you can, try not to put your foot down because it really helps keeping those muscles activated. So I'm getting hamstring and glute here. So you want to try to go nice and easy, because I'm only going to do 5. And I'm going to touch. All right, so next thing I'm going to do is called Hindu squats. The reason I'm going to do Hindu squats, I want to get my quads firing. This is also going to get my calves firing a little bit too. But it also kind of mimics a lot of things on skateboards, because when you're skateboarding, you're popping ollies and stuff, whatever other tricks, you're going up on the balls of your feet. A Hindu squat, you go up on the balls of your feet. You just drop down, sweep your fingers on the ground. Like that. I'm gonna do 10 of these. Next thing I'm gonna do is grab my band, attach it to here, put it on my foot. And now from here, I'm gonna work on firing that weak hip flexor. So I'm just gonna stand back, because I'm also gonna get a little stretch here too. And I'm just gonna come up. Whoa. It's nice and easy. I'm gonna have to do it going straight. I'm going to do this 10 times. Again, I'm trying to go somewhat easy. I'm not trying to go too fast with it. This will help get that hip flexor firing. I have a really tight psoas. And the PT at the gym I work at recommended doing these because he said I probably have a tight hip flexor, weak hip flexor, and that's why, could be the reason why my psoas is tight. So I'm going to do 10. That might have been 10. I don't know. I wasn't counting. Get a switch. Then I'm going to step back first and come up. Then I'm going to bring it on the inside. Come this way. Lean my weight this leg. Step back nice and easy. Going to work the adductors and the abductors. 10 of those. And I'll just say it's 10. I'll do more after this video. So I'm bringing my weight over to one side and stepping in nice and easy and controlled. Especially on the way back. That's what's going to get those outside muscles on your hips. The abductors, AB abductors. And putting all my weight on this side, I'm actually feeling it, my hamstrings, my glutes, and my quad also. So I'm getting more activation there too. So another thing that I do is some sort of hip circles. Do about 5 each direction. And this is just more to get some fluid going in my hips. I have tight hips, so I'm trying to get, not only trying to get the nervous system firing, but I got a little like bone on bone. So I'm just trying to get some of that synovial fluid in there to help with that. It's kind of like oiling the joint. So that's what I do. Add more if you'd like. Not saying that you shouldn't stretch before you skate. If that's what you like to do, that's fine, but add these also. It will help a lot. Favor, at minimum, like this video. If you did like it, it will help other people be able to see it. It actually really does make a difference. And if you subscribe, that'd be awesome too, but I'll take a like over a subscribe. Both would be better. Thanks, I hope it helps. Let me know in the comments.